Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. What do I do for you? Today, lucky day. We're going to get a three-peat today. I got three lessons in one for you, so that's where we headed. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. I give life lessons. There's going to be another one. Hope you get it. Let's go. Right thinkers mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life, and that's what it is. Through mental and spiritual discipline, daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal, spiritual enlightenment. From that word guide, aka know thyself. My mission is to guide you to reach that level of knowledge of self for yourself. That's why I teach you the things you need to know to do that. Your job is to learn them, implement them, and the results will be know thyself. That's my goal. That's my mission. You should be on it too. Let's go. If you're a right thinker, that's what you want to do. Know thyself. That's what I'm here to do for you. I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer, I can help you out with that. Tune in. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they even know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, it's simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes or think they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right there, good know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm going to try to get three lessons in today. And I'm going to try to hit them and quit them. So it's going to be a quick little excerpt for each one. The right thing is, the title of this lesson is My Yacht is the Guide for Righteous Path. But on that righteous path, you got an unrighteous path that a lot of us seem to get stuck on. That's what I'm going to break out of that habit. That's called unrighteousness and ignorance. See that guy right there? That's Set. Okay. When you saw him before, he was on the backside of the body of Haru. He has his own entity. Let's talk about him right quick, and I can get to my app. So I want to get this out of the way. It says the great truth number two: unrighteousness and ignorance. They go hand in hand. Watch this. Lack of righteousness brings fetters to the personality, and these fetters lead to ignorance of the divine. Again, I keep letting you know, if you don't know yourself, that means you're ignorant of yourself and your higher self. The ego knows only itself. That's the concept. That's what you can see. I know I am. Okay, yeah, well, you're ignorant of your real self, but yeah, that's who Set. Let's talk about Set right quick. Now, if you recall, lack of righteousness leads to fetters. Okay, I tell you that's self-inflicted drama that we seem to love. Okay, that's called injured Set. It refers to what happens when a human being acts in ways that what contradict the natural order of nature within that person's personality. Again, remember, your natural order is divine, righteous, good. When you go against that, you become in opposition to God. That makes you the devil. That's who Set represents as the ego. But we don't call him the devil. We call him, that's that ego. Why? Because he edged God out. He's without God. He's by himself. And that's what you do when you practice Set concepts. Watch this. They will develop what? You have negative qualities of the mind. These are the afflictions of Set. In essence, afflictions of the mind. Set is the nether root of what? Egoism for a reason. And he represents selfishness, that's Saul Set, are the fetters which cause afflictions, just like unhygienic living leads to what? Disease. The inject Set leads to what? Disease of the mind. You're not thinking right. When you're not thinking right, the mind's going to go haywire. And the disease, here you go, the disease of egoism, ignorance, and self-bondage to what? The world of time and space. You are locked into being here because of the stuff that you just love and got to have it. That's the ego self. He don't want nothing else. Recall that the term Saoset means what? Fetters of set. And it refers to what? The sweltering bandage that what covers the mouth, preventing one from experiencing expansion in consciousness or enlightenment. The fetters of set as it developed into what? A disease. And the disease is in the set, which can be what? Understood as an affliction. Not a good thing. Okay? Watch this. And right thinking philosophy, she taught Netta, the afflictions are what? Anger, hatred, greed, lust, jealousy, envy, etc. If you harbor any of these qualities in your personality, you will suffer. Watch, we'll get to that in a few minutes. Remember these things, all right? They make the heart heavy. Little heads up. They are what? These are the mental diseases, mental failings that must be cured. And how do you cure them? Ignorance and egoism are the cause, the number one cause, which must be what? Removed from your personality in order for you to grow spiritually. Watch this. Now, Aset, remember her? Is the goddess that holds the cure for those ills. The cure is wisdom, knowledge, self. Wisdom, knowledge of self. Hello. Those, watch this, those who are wise, my right thinker, just what you want to be, of self, cannot be ignorant of the self, and therefore cannot be egoistic either. So if you know thyself, you know yourself. So the ego already been conquered at that point for you if you become wise. They cannot be what? Selfish. Right thinkers are, we're not selfish. They cannot be anything but helpful where? To humanity. I'm just here to help the cause for the better. I see the problem. I'm doing what I could to help the problem. Can you say that? Moving on. The divinity pictured above, I showed you the set, as stated previously. Watch this. This is the divinity that many scholars, watch this, included myself, believe that the early Jews, you know who they are, confused and used to develop this concept of Satan. There we go. The definition of devil is opposition to God. We know that, but that's a creation. Remember, you create that opposition. If you know right from wrong, you either can do right or you can do wrong. If you're ignorant of right and wrong, 9 times out of 10, you're going to do wrong. Why? Because you don't know no better. So, idea is to know thyself so you can do better. Recall, watch this, the one of the names of Set is Setet or Sutek. Sutek and Satan are very similar. Yeah. The Jews, we know, supposedly, here we go. I got a bone to pick with you Christians, emerged with who? Moses from ancient Egypt. Wrong. And the Judeo-Christian Bible says, this is what the Bible says, that Moses was skilled in all the magic of Egyptians. Moving on. I don't agree with that. The Bible says that Moses was an Egyptian priest. No, he wasn't. So obviously, he supposedly knew the wisdom. That's what I got a problem with. And the teachings of Kemet. So then, the Jews came forth with a philosophy of what? A devil or Satan. That didn't come from Egypt. So don't keep telling me, no, that didn't come from Egypt. Trust me. Then Christians, watch this, then Christianity takes it over. You may remember a comedian by the name of Flip Wilson who years ago had the phrase and concept to make a joke out of it. The devil made me do it. That concept of the devil is the biggest problem. Why? Because if you have a devil out there who is making you do something, and you have no control over it, that's not good. Then you do not have to answer to anybody, do you? You just have to say, oh, I should not help myself. And then you are free to what? Be an unrighteous person and free to do whatever it is that you want and not be responsible for your actions. That's a lie. Why? We know karma takes care of that. That can't be right. Why? Because there is some outside force controlling you, and you need to have it. What? Really? Exercise? That's what y'all say? Exercise the evil. Calm down. I don't do the seances. I don't do talking to dead people from the grave. I don't partake in that. That's all. Whatever. I just don't do it. Again, I walk down the street. I see a house of ill repute. I see a church. It's my choice. I know which one I'm going to and what I'm going in there for. If not, you should not go in either one until you know the difference. Again, well, you go in the whole house. I thought this. Oh, well, see, you didn't know. So I did to know that. So moving down here, I can't agree with that exercise and nonsense either. So I don't subscribe to that theory. And I know if Moses was an Egyptian, he would know better than that nonsense. And plus, they said he went up and talked to God on Mount Sinai, and God gave him the rules. If he's an Egyptian priest, he'd have his own rules. Just saying. And the fact that you put God on Mount Sinai and not in you, I'm done with you already. Moving down here, watch this right quick. For those who are wise, who do not get into the religious fundamentals. Why? They just leave it all together. But I see people who's in church, proud Christians, loving it. All of a sudden, they become agnostics. They become atheists. Why? Because of the people who in church upset them. So they get mad at God. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. But I see it. And I'm just watch this. But they do not what have a viable religious or spiritual process. Right in the philosophy, I want you to get used to hearing spiritual education system. Why? That's what this is. I just figured that part out. It came to me. Yeah, I'm in educating you spiritually. There you go, spiritual knowledge, spiritual education. But it's a system that can be followed, that can be mastered, and you can be better for it. So I just tagged that in. But watch this. You got to have a spiritual system process to fall back on. I go to church, been going to church every week, almost 10 years now. Why? I fellowship. That's what fellowship is. Okay? I'm not going there looking for God. I'm not going there hoping, no, I'm going there to fellowship. I understand what I'm doing and why I'm there. My man said, why you going there? Trust me. I know that is for a purpose and for a reason. And that's their thing, and I ain't got a problem with it. That's why. Watch this. Most people don't have nothing to fall back on. They just leave the church altogether. We see a lot of that. You don't like the pastor, don't like whatever reason, that's an excuse to not do something. Okay. Some become what atheists. They claim not to believe in God all of a sudden because of religion. Religion ain't God. Others become agnostic. I just told you. Now believing that what? That God cannot be known through religion. That's true. Or anyway, that's wrong. Some of these people become frustrated with life later. Yeah, confused. Confusion, chaos leads to frustration, depression, and other stuff. After some time, watch this, you're growing old and fearing death. Now you want to come back. Now you want God. Now you want to come back to God. No, no. Oh, when death started hound that the hellhounds coming at you, you want to call for God and all that good stuff. Watch this. And they come back to what? Religion. But with more intensity than before. All right. But watch this. In a fundamentalist, fanatical way, yeah, they all in now because that's all. So understand that. Don't be that person. Others retain their belief in God, but not in religion. That's cool. Religion is just what they call something that's a cult following that they believe the same thing. They are what? Searching. Some make their own religions. I was accused of that. No, I didn't make up nothing. This is a she taught nothing semi-time week. I just put my little twist on it. I didn't make nothing. I just put a little spoke in the wheel. I didn't reinvent it. Okay? But some people try their own religion. And some try to follow their own dogmatic religion by making what? Changes in the way that they see fit. Something they like, they with. Thing they don't like, they ain't with. They did the same thing they wrote the Bible. Stuff they liked it, they kept in. Stuff they didn't, throw it out. Human nature. Now, others, watch this. Others are authentic what? Mystics. Those who seek the truth are willing to go across the world if necessary to what? To find the true path of spiritual enlightenment. You ain't gotta go that far. Come right here to Peaceful I'm Thinking Right, my YouTube channel. I got you. Now, entropy is another major concept in our Netherlandian theology. That means Murphy's Law. What could go wrong will go wrong. Okay? In Netherlandian theology, there is really no evil. Watch this. There is creation and destruction. You're either with it or you're against it. Simple as that. There is creation order. That's Maya. And watch this. Entropy is more precise. Consider an older building. Imagine how this building must have looked when it was what? First built. New. Okay. Entropy means it's going to change. Watch this. Now it's falling apart. That happens to everything. It will happen to the chair that you're sitting in. A chair may last 500 years. But I guarantee you, in 500 years, you are going to find it in what? A dilapidated condition, like the pyramids are. Okay? No matter what, things are going to deteriorate. That's nature. Watch this. Your bodies are, here you go, are deteriorating even as we speak. Those of you who are 5 years old and those of you who are 50 years old are all what? Deteriorating, moving restlessly towards disillusion, meaning the end of what your body come here to do is going to run out. Okay? Everything has entropy, and most must be what? Continuously maintained. That's order. Why? And continuously work. That is reorder. It order must be what? Maintained. That so that what? It does not fail and fall into chaos. If the sun decided it didn't want to spend its 12 hours, it's going to offset the whole balance of everything going on. Hence, balance. It knows it's got 12. It's got 12. But that's been a fight that's been going on since beginning of time. Why is this? So Set is not the devil. Understand that. Why? Because in the right thinking that reason concept, we find that he is placed in what? The service of Ra. I told you, I use my ego to motivate me, to get me up, to get me going when I really ain't, feeling it. That's how you use him. Why? Because he won't give up. He gonna fight. And I know that about him, so I use that quality when I need him. Other than that, he got no say so. That don't mean he don't try. That's what I said. You need order. Why? Chaos will come in if you let it. What they tell you? The idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you're not God conscious, if you're not prayed up as a Christian, say, you may fall, be susceptible to what? Ignorant situation that you may do something, feel sorry, or have regret about. Why? Because you wasn't thinking. Yeah. Think right, act right, do right. You won't have that. Why? Because you're going to think before you do. That's why. And watch this. When you in service of Ra, he represents the supreme being in time and space right here. And what happened? You see Set depicted fighting the serpent, the true serpent of what? Chaos. Okay? That's the Roman. The other part to Ra is darkness. That's Apophis, give me a pet. And he represents the other side of light, which is dark. And he wanted to keep dark. So he fights Ra to keep him from shining. That's their battle, back and forth. And on the boat, when Apophis show up, they said he is so big, he got enough, he could wrap around the earth 3.5 times. He coiled around the earth 3.5 times. The purpose there too. But the idea is he's that big, he's immense, and he scared people. Okay, like Goliath for us, David slew Goliath. Most people get scared of Goliath. Okay, but Ra do battle, but he called all his boys to make the fight in his favor so he can win, come and shine. Long story short, that's what it's all about. Chaos got to be taken out by order, and that is trying to what? Chaos is trying to stop the journey of the divine boat. You see him carrying a boat, celestial boat. That's because conceptually they say ride transverse in a boat. Okay, and again, the boat that priests carry in the temple as part of their ritual, described above as symbolic of the boat that Ra creates and the beginning of time. Set is what? The ego, and when the ego goes wrong, the wrong way, it commits evil acts again. But itself is not evil, only ignorant and ignorant of knowledge of himself. Again, you can't say he's a bad guy. You just don't know no better. We call him uncouth. Now, let me get to my last other one all the time. I'm sorry about that. But now let's talk about Maat, the God of righteous path. This is the combatant of Set. Watch this. Maat, the offering of Maat is symbolizing the ultimate act of what? Righteousness. Okay? Temple of Seti I, the king offers to Asar. It's not pictured, but okay, here you can't see it because it's in black and white. It's the ancient picture. But he's offering up Maya. On the other page, that's what we headed to. This is the fun part. That's the judgment. Okay, they call it the curriculum. Why? Because it's going to break down the purpose and the reason that this represents philosophically, and this is how they lived with a concept that kept them on the straight and narrow for over 3,000 years. Watch this. Now, in order to uphold truth and order, all must make offerings to who? Mayat. That's how important Mayat was. The highest offering is living by the truth. The truth of the world and the truth of what? Beyond. Even the kings must make offerings of Mayat. One of the main duties of the king is to what? Uphold righteousness. If you're in a position of power, your first order of business should be uphold righteousness, keep order, and operate in truth. The king at ancient time, like the president of today, okay, is he upholding righteousness? Is he keeping order? And is he living by truth? If the ancient pharaohs and kings had to live up to it, why don't we have to do that now? Okay, I'm just making that analogy so you can get understanding. If you live the leader, these are things that you should be leading by. Watch this, I'm gonna let you know. Watch my lay it out for you. Why? So that there may be a continued prosperity and peace where? In the land. And so they may be what? Perpetuation of what? The culture and its civilization. Here you see the sign Seti I is making the offering of Maya to his god Asar. Okay? These inscriptions can be seen even today in the temple, which is still there in Edo. The offering of Maya is the ultimate offering that a king can make, and this is what he is expected to do. This is one of his main roles. President, your main role should take care of your people. He is to produce his people, he's to protect his people, to protect order, and to keep unrighteous people from dominating the culture. Wait a minute. If we got set in the chair, then we done. Philosophically and really, we going to hell in the handbasket. We had a guy who was taking us there fast and we wanted to go, and they want him back. Get back to the lesson. I'm just putting it out there. The following commission proverbs are the instructions of Maya, but the injunctions of Maya, excuse me. There are two roads traveled by humankind. Those who seek Maya, right thinkers, and those who seek their animal passions, egoistic ways. If you ain't doing Maya, you doing you. I just tell you that. Maya is represented by God. That's divinity. So you can represent her by doing the things that she tell you to do. She laying it out for you. She give you everything you need, the blueprint. All you got to do is follow it. I'm living to you. All you got to do is come and get it and put it to use. Mastery of the passions allows divine thought and action. If you haven't mastered your emotions, your discernment, your wisdom, all the aspects of your character, then you can't think right. That's the whole purpose, because you become what? God conscious. Your divine thoughts lead to right actions. So I'm cringing, but I'm trying to hold it down. Next one is here we go. Now let's talk about how you can pass the scales of Maya. I like this part. Okay. Now, there are injunctions of Maya practice. These injunctions are part of the major teachings from the Haru text of wisdom and text of commit. This is slide, I did slide 38. This is slide 39. I got one more slide that's going to show another picture on the next page when I get there. Excuse me. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Now, if I had to be a scale, and then the screen up, I'll have it on the board and I'll point out all the stuff. This is on this. So I'm not going to go through that lesson. It'll take too much time and, and visually, I don't need to go through that. But I can let you know that you see Haru, excuse me, you see Osar sitting on the throne. He's the king. He got the sun just over his head. He got three things in his hand. Everything represents something. I ain't going through that. But then the scales of Maya. You got Anubis and you got Tahuti. Discernment for Anubis, fair shake, reasoning, and understanding from Tahuti. And you got Ani. He's the one's coming in that's going to be judged. His heart is on the scale of Maya. He's on one side, and the ab is where the vessel at the heart is at. Okay, they the heart that y'all see. It's a little vessel, little ab. Okay, but it sits on one side, and the balance comes out. You got Tahuti standing there, keeping records as he always do. Then you got Anubis checking to make sure the weight is right. Okay, you triple beam, man. You know you got to have that little needle right in the middle. Okay, I love that. Being the old guy, so I know balance is important. Why? Before you start, before I weigh anything, I gotta make sure the balance is right. So I was Anubis a long time ago, keeping the scales balanced. Yeah, but watch this. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people seeing this scene, this picture, is similar since the most popular section of the text, which contains the judgment of the soul. This is what they live for. Watch this. It is from one of the papyri called the Per Em Haru, which you know as the Book of the Dead, coming forth by day. Watch this. This is the picture showing some of the hieroglyphic text, which the teachings that we have been discussing. This is Asar seeker, and Asar is not in his mummified form. Okay, he got the head of Ra, and he even got the sun disk of Ra. Why? Because in the afterworld, underlife, he is God, aka Ra, in the flesh, time and space. Watch this. But this is the picture shown, and he's the Asar seeker in his form of king of the netherworld. Where what? He's king of the netherworld, where everyone goes after death, symbolically for the commission concepts. Right? Thinking this is our philosophy. Okay, everybody don't feel the same way, but this is what we believe. Watch this. And why? After death, there is a judgment. Some people say they go to the gates and St. Peter's there. If you know Jesus, come on in. That's the password to get in, Jesus Christ. So that wasn't our philosophy. Watch this. Now, after death, there is judgment. I'll lay the scene out for you. They're carried out by the balance of the scales of Maya. That's how important she was to them. On one end, we had the feather of Maya, which is the ostrich feather, okay? And on the other end, we have the heart. If you know anything about feathers, they don't weigh much. If you know anything about the heart, it's a big vessel. In order for that thing to be light, you got to have purified and good deeds and good actions. That's how you light in the heart, right there. Watch this. This is the rule. Watch this. The heart is a vessel, a container. It contains what? Your most inner thoughts. My pastor used a phrase, God know your heart. Why? That's where he dwells. I get the concept. Maybe he thinks something else, but I know that way. Your feelings. I tell you, feelings come from the heart. Desire comes from the mind. Feelings is always first. Feelings is always first. Why is that? Because now your desires and residues of what? Your past actions. It's something that you desire to have and want. You're not going to let it go. Why? Because it's going to last and go on. But your feelings, when you feel first, you have understanding from here. Good intentions. The heart is divine. It don't have ill will. It don't have bad intentions. Conceptually, unless you got a black heart. We know a bunch of them. But watch this. Now, if the heart is heavy with what? Worry, anxiety, unrighteous actions, guilt, lies, deceit, and sexual and physical carnal desires of the flesh. These is all the things upset. These are all the things that the egoistic, and guess what? It weighs on the heart. So if you carry these things around with you, you know at judgment day, they say get your house in order. That means purify your heart. Why? Because it's going to be judged at judgment day. And who's the judge? Moi. Everybody's responsible for themselves. You got the answer for you. Simple as that. Okay, so understand that. Then watch this. It is going to be weighed down the balance scales. And the scale with Mayat goes up. This is an unrighteous soul. If they're going to scale like this, and they put your heart on there, boom. Watch this. The balance scales, when the balance scale go up, this is what? An unrighteous soul. You ain't got to say a word. You got to, but no. Your heart just spoke for you. I told you in Judgment Day, that's who does the talking. Watch this. Now the balance scales can be even with Maya. That means, okay, all right, you good. When they put your heart in the scale, they don't move. Okay, watch this. Mayat goes up. Okay, scale, when they balance, Mayat, the balance scales can be uneven, when the heart can be heavier, or they can be even. Heart can be even lighter than Mayat. Meaning, watch this. There are three things that can happen as a result of the balancing of your heart at the scales of Mayat. First one, if the heart is heavier than Mayat, this means that you have been unrighteous. We don't need to hear explanations. We don't need to hear no excuses. No, none of that. It's already been done. Watch this. An unrighteous person, and what happened? You will suffer in another world until the reincarnation comes for you. See, you go there and you go through whatever you're going through until you make the decision. You want to reincarnate? Yeah, go back again. Get to try again. Okay. Other than that, you suffer in another world. Remember, the unrighteousness here does not mean evil, but rather ignorant. And therefore, acting out of ignorance, you have error born out of what? Egoism. Selfish acts. When you have desires, when you have unrighteousness in your heart, you have nightmares. Quick. I can attest to this one. How many of us have nightmares on a regular basis? You going through drama, you struggling, you stressing out. Why? Because your subconscious is bringing it all back to you, and you restless like sleep. When you at peace, when you let go and let God, that means you ain't thinking about whatever situation going on. You let it go. Let God take it. I learned that lesson over 10 years ago. I don't have nightmares. I sleep good at night. Free yourself from all that pent up nonsense. That's self-inflicted again. That's sad. You move on. I like my man who said he fell into my show by accident. I hope I'm getting some information because he said stuff is good. I don't understand it, but it sounds good. Tune in, my man. Any questions you got, I'll answer for you, but I appreciate you. Let's go. Now, when you have desires, unrighteousness, you will have nightmares. Why? Nightmares are what? A source of your own suffering that you have brought upon yourself. I can't make it no clearer, and they make it real plain. I'm not saying that. This is what happens when you do what you do. If you are righteous, here you go, and peaceful, which I have been for a while now, and it feels good. You cannot have nightmares. I didn't know that. I just know I'm good and I go to sleep. I sleep well. I don't wake up in the middle of the night with sweat dreams. Oh, man. No, I don't have none of that. I did. I used to. Been there. I mean, I couldn't sleep on Sunday nights. Why? I got to go to work on Monday. That was psychological. That just wore me out for over 20 years. That's a lot of stuff to stress with. Trust me, been there. So I understand. Free yourself. You will not have mental diseases either. My mom is 84 years old. She does crossword puzzles. She keeps herself busy. Why? Because her cognitive thinking, she wants to stay sharp. And that's how you do it. You figure out what works for you. My mom's a right thinker. Always been. I'm realizing that now. Okay. You will not have what? Insanity either. We got more problems with dementia and people having all these crazy problems. But the brain stopped turning to mush. When you don't use it, you lose it. Right quick. That was the number one. Now what's number two? Number two, if the balance of the scales are even, bam. Okay. My favorite position. Watch this. You are good. It means that you are good. You are a good soul. But you are not a perfect soul. Yeah, you're good. and you can get there. But what happens when the scales is even for you? So the decree is that what you are going to be a servant of Ra. You will be able to behold Asar. Excuse me, you'll be a servant of Asar. You will be able to behold Asar in his city. I mean, you can come in, but you're gonna be working. You see signs of them in afterlife, some plowing the field. Yeah, there's still some stuff that got to be done. And you'll be one of them. But you got in. If you're a servant at the party, be glad to be the servant, unless you want them on the Titanic. Wouldn't want to be in that job. But when you're in the building, you're good. But watch this. The third one is what right thinkers we want to be. This is the one I'm trying to get you to be right here. This is my lesson, and I'm gonna shut it down because I see the clock. But I want to get this lesson to you right quick. If the heart goes up, bam, your heart is lighter than the feather, Mayat. This means that you go actually to sit in the throne, not on the right hand of the Father. No, you go sit on the throne. Well, how, what? Shut up and listen. Sorry about that, but watch this. You're going to sit on the throne with a sword. If the heart is heavy, that means one's mind is full of what? Desires, unresolved feelings, again, guilt, anger, hatred, greed, worry, anxiety, etc. Due to what? Again, ignorance and egoism. They go together, okay? And neither one of them is good. That's not a good combination. That's destructive, self-destructive. Now, if the heart is light, it has let what those feathers go. I just tell you, dropping the weight of your past, let that stuff go. What? It ain't gonna help you. It's gonna hurt you in the long run. So let it go. Watch this. Let it go, and what has cleared? You clear that. You clear the afflictions caused by them. If they're not there, you ain't gonna worry about them. But if they're there, you got the answer for them. Now, in mystical terms, watch this. If I go sit on your lap, what happens? One of two things will happen. Either you start feeling pain, and I may even break your legs. Or, watch this, here where it comes at. If I am so subtle, that means light, and light, then what? I may dissolve into you, aka becoming one with you. Do you follow my concept? You see where I'm going with this? You become what? One with Asar. That's my goal as a right thinker, to get you to know that for yourself. After that, I got to take this next one. I got to get this one there. It's called the Per M Haru. This is the fun part, okay? This is what happens after you pass the test. You see what the white head, you see the black head in the beginning? The first line, that's Haru, taken to the Father. He gets to worship at the ritual spot right there, okay? You see his hair? It's white now, right? That means he crossed over, okay? That's the spiritual concept of crossing over. There will be a change in your character. There will be a change in your look. You will be different. Okay. Now it says here from Per M Haru. Haru, O Lord Asar, Unefer, soul of creation, and foremost in the Amet, which is the Dua, the netherworld. Watch this. I am Haru, your son. I announce that I bring what? A righteous soul to see you, O divine Lord. And they go to him like this, Masons. We ain't looked at the pyramids. We ain't worried about it being 12 o'clock. We got to shade our eyes. No, this is the sign of dua and worship and respect to the higher self. Now, this scene is from the papyrus of Ani, which is the one in the white being short, taken because he passed. Now he goes to sit on the throne with a saw. And perhaps the second most recognized scene in the text, Per M Haru, Ani is another initiate. I want to show you this particular slide. I want to break it down to you to give you indication of what would be happening in the inner shrine once you pass. Not the specific details, but to give you an indication. This is Haru stating, "Oh Lord," talk to his father who bring it. Now you, the aspirant, has gone through what? The balance of the scales already and has been judged to be what? Righteous. That's the goal right there. Once you get judged to be righteous, therefore, Haru what announces you. The tradition, a priest wears what? The Haru headdress, would play the part of Haru. You got three personalities, a priest and two priestesses. Asar, Nectes and Aset. Okay, the initiate is what led to the inner shrine, where you see him praying by Haru. In the picture above, note that the difference between the depiction of Ani in the left side as compared to the right side. Why? The hair in the picture of Ani on the left is black, whereas the hair on the right is what? White. What happens? What is that? The righteous initiate is being what? Anointed. Start with the hair. Didn't Moses turn colors? Or his hand? He put his hand in and put out white. So they got the concept. Again, they get little few parts here and there. But watch this. Now, do you know any other philosophy or teachers that talk about the great anointment? Yeah. Oh, Christianity. In fact, Christos, which comes from the Greek word, okay, anointed one, which means anointed one, and there is also an ancient Egyptian word with similar meaning, which Kras, K-A-R-A-S-T. That's when the sun kisses us. It's called a Kras. Okay, mind you, the Netarian anointment was recorded what as early as the what pyramid text 4000 BCE. So y'all didn't make that up. We had it going on time before you got there. And the last one I want to break down here. Here, Ani is becoming what? An Ankh. What's that? Aku, becoming enlightened. And this is the final result of the Maya practice. We want to be like Anu, get anointed, pass the scales of Maya, and go on and live into netherworld in peace and harmony. Hotep, the greatest peace. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know a little long. Oh, I'll be back.